Hi, friends. Welcome to the Dream With Me podcast. I'm Heather Burge, an entrepreneur for nearly half my life, and I'm so excited to help you break down your bucket list business goals into bite-sized steps. Do you have big dreams for your small business or side hustle, but have no idea how to actually set, let alone achieve your goals? Or are you a goal-setting, high-achieving numbers nerd like me who enjoys the process as much as the end result? Either way, this podcast is for you. Together, we will break down your goals in each bingeable episode with a simple acronym based around the word DREAM. I'll help you D, decide what you really want, R, reverse engineer what it takes to get there, E, embrace your numbers, A, ask for accountability, and M, make some momentum. Are you ready to dream with me today? Break out that notepad and your calculator and let's do this. Hi, friends. Yay. So today we are going to talk about what makes a worthy goal. So I am super curious. Are you a goal setter typically? Are you someone like me who probably has an endless supply of ideas for days? You could set 50 million goals in every area of your life, including your home. Maybe if you have extracurricular activities that you like to partake in, you are just a goal getter. And if you are like me, this will certainly help you narrow down your focus because guess what, girl? You need to rein it in. We cannot do all the things. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But I'm also speaking to you guys out there, and I know you're there, that you don't set goals and you just kind of take each, day by day, and you just fly by the seat of your pants and kind of go off your whims and your fancies, and you just kind of see what happens, right? And whereas taking each day by day and step by step is actually a great part in actually attaining your goals, it is really important to have a clear sight on what you want, especially in your business. And the other thing I want to ask you, if you are hesitant to set goals in your business, could it be that you are scared of failure? Is your hesitation to put a deadline or to put a specific thing out there that you want in your business, is that based off of your fear of failure? Today, I really hope to share with you why goal setting is important, especially if you are starting or running your own business. If you don't have a clear direction that you are headed, you're likely just going to end up exactly right where you are, or possibly you could end up in a completely different direction, or you could be going backwards. So I'm going to share a story with you guys first that I think exemplifies this very well, and also exemplifies how sometimes our dreams and our goals don't necessarily come to fruition the way that we think they are. And as a goal setter, this is kind of a funny story for you guys. So when my husband and I first got married, we had a dream together to eventually have a really big sport fishing boat. So my husband's a huge fisherman. That was something that, even though I didn't grow up as a fisherwoman, we really had so much fun fishing together. He was a fishing guide down in South Florida, and we spent so many wonderful times together on his boat. But we just had these dreams. We would see these big, I guess you'd call them yachts, go by, but these big 30, 40, 50-foot sport fish boats go by on the ocean, and we would just drool and dream. And for as long as I can remember, even before we got married, that's something that we have wanted. So for me, that's something that has always and will always be a clear goal for us to attain. But guess what? Those boats are kind of pricey, right? So, the desire for what that could do for our family has always been very, very motivating to me, and it still is to this day. But funny story, we actually spent this summer with my mom, who is also a goal getter. And she saw these big sport fish boats, and my husband and I were educating her on what they do and, the different models and how they're different from other type big boats. And guess what? She set her sights on getting one herself. So she did, because my mom typically gets what she wants. And she went out and bought a 60-foot ocean sport fish boat. And it is absolutely beautiful. And funny enough, I'm like, yep, that's kind of our dream boat, even though it's not anything that I did in my own might. But still, nonetheless, I can totally see where this is a huge blessing in our life, as now we get to have that dream with our family on the boat. So I say all this to say, we spent the Christmas holidays on the boat in between Christmas and New Year's, and I actually got to drive this big monster out in the ocean, this big 60-foot boat. I'm like a 5'4", blonde, not the best driver in a car, but yet somehow they entrusted me to drive this boat. And my husband said, "Okay, Heather, you see this little, this compass, really, we're headed in this direction. There's a line straight forward. And if you turn the boat just slightly, even like 1 degree off to the right or the left, we're either going to wind up hitting land, which we obviously don't want to do, or we're going to be going like out to sea." So he's like, "I just want you to keep the boat headed straight in this direction." We plotted a course. I had a clear vision for exactly where I was going. And what I did little by little was just turn the wheel left to right as I needed to kind of keep that course to keep us on track, right? And also be on the lookout for obstacles and all the, the little things floating in the water, animals, other boats, things like that were coming my way. And I was shocked to learn that it really wasn't as difficult as I thought to steer this big ship, because I had a clear direction, a clear vision for where I was going. So my purpose in telling you this is twofold. Number one, dreams don't always turn out the way you think, right? You may or may not hit that big goal in your business. You may or may not even wind up doing what you're doing 5 years from now, right? I never dreamed that I would sell my traditional business and be a leader in network marketing. That was 100% not something that was ever on my radar. But you can bet that while I was still in my traditional business, I would have a clear direction for where I was going in a given month, in a given quarter, and in a given year. And obviously I do the same in my business now. Because once again, if you don't have that clear direction, if you are even changing your course just slightly, you could end up somewhere that you don't want to be. So let's talk about what makes a worthy goal. So a lot of you guys, if you're like me, you can tend to overthink things. Again, no shortage of ideas. And you could brainstorm a list of all the things that you want to do. And I want to help you today break down what exactly makes a worthy goal. And I got a lot of clarity out of this from a sermon that my pastor did, where he said, a goal is a worthy goal if it involves risk and it serves others. So what does that mean exactly? It involves risk and serves others. So think about all the good things in your life, right? Maybe if you have kids, going through childbirth, if you have been married for more than a minute, it's not often easy. And all of these things, they involve risk, right? But they're beautiful, good additions in our lives. And I can't think of many good blessings that I have. Like right now, we actually just got a puppy for Christmas, and she's definitely such a blessing, but it's kind of hard, right? It's very much discipline for both her and for me to get into a rhythm and a habit and a routine. And any worthy goal is the same way. It's going to involve a little bit of risk on your part. Plus, guess what? The way that you grow personally is by taking risks in your life and kind of leaning into that discomfort. So if it's something that scares you, know that it could likely be a worthy goal for you. Even doing this podcast scares me. Still, to this day, I had to record the intro like 3 times, you guys, to finally just be like, okay, just start talking. You can do this, Heather, right? But I know that it's a worthy goal to do it because it involves risk, right? Okay, so the part 2 is, does it serve others? So while certain things, like for example, a boat can seem like a very frivolous goal, right? Like big giant swordfish boat, right? It's very expensive. It's got this like luxury feel to it. So you can kind of feel like, is that even a worthy goal to want that? Well, guess what? That's the one thing that my husband, he's an outdoor guy. I'm an indoor girl. He loves all things outdoors. He hunts, he fishes, all the things. I, not so much. I'm happy just, inside and looking at the things from the outside. But one of the things that we have in common is we love to be on that boat. And our kids, we've got 2 beautiful girls, and they also love it. They love to fish. They love to be out on the water. It's something that we absolutely can have fun together. So is having a sport fish boat a worthy goal or a worthy thing to serve my family, to, give us something to spend time together? Absolutely. And business is the same way, you guys. So if, for example, you have a big goal of a promotion in your business, maybe you, want to step into, leading other people or hiring some employees, or again, I'm in network marketing. Maybe you want to hit the next rank in your comp planner in your company. Is it going to serve others if you do that, meaning if you bring on employees, are you going to be showing them, leading them by example, teaching them? I'm so grateful for the mentors I had who owned traditional businesses along the way, because they taught me so much more than I would say education in college and all of those things, or even the corporate environment. I learned so much from my small business owners. So does it serve others to grow and scale your business? Absolutely. Does it serve others to rank and grow in your business if you are in network marketing? Heck yes, girl, because guess what? You can't get to where you are without helping a lot of other people win. And I'm here to tell you, if you make it about yourself and if you make it about what is going to be in it for you, number one, it's not going to be fulfilling for you. I've learned this from experience. If you try to set, say a goal to rank in your business, right? Or maybe to set a certain income level in your business. If you are doing it just for yourself, when and if you hit it, it's going to feel empty. And guess what? If you fall short, you're going to feel not so great. But if you can instead focus on, okay, well, what would it take to get to this point, to grow my business, to rank, to promote, to build employees? And what would that look like? And how could I serve them? How can I show up and help them achieve their goals? And when you shift that focus on serving versus kind of the strategy of what's in it for you, everything changes. And guess what? That's where you find the fulfillment, the contentment, and even better, the joy in the journey. And that way, heaven forbid you don't actually hit that in-game goal, or you, again, your course changes. You are still going to feel that joy because you'll know that you were serving others along the way. So another specific thing I want to talk about when it comes to worthy goals and setting them in your business, this is probably not new to you. And if it isn't, it's definitely something to be reminded of, especially as we head into this new year and we're setting goals in our business. But if you haven't heard of it, it's going to be a game changer. And this is going to help you really kind of narrow down your focus when it comes to goal setting. So the S.M.A.R.T analogy, obviously we love analogies around here, right? But the S.M.A.R.T analogy actually has been around as long as me. It was founded in 1981 by a couple of really, really smart guys that put together like a business strategy presentation. And of course, there's so many people that chat about this still today as a great tool for setting goals. And it's because it's pretty good. It's a helpful way to do it. So the S in S.M.A.R.T stands for specific. So you want to set specific goals, meaning you want to set a specific income level. Or when I had my bridal shop, I would set a very specific goal of how many wedding dresses I wanted to sell in a given month. For me in my business now, I set a sales goal each month, and I always have a goal to enroll and to bring on 2 business partners each month to grow in the business. Any more than that tends to be a little overwhelming to me. I like to be able to, once again, really serve the people that decide to link arms with me in business. And I have found that to be a good number. So it's very specific. You want to set specific goals in life and in business. The M stands for measurable. Measurable means just something that you can quantify, right? So you don't want to say, I want to be a healthier person. You're going to say, I'm going to work out, every day, right? Or I'm going to, lose 10 pounds, something that is measurable, quantifiable. And we're going to talk a lot about this on the podcast, especially when we get to the R, the reverse engineer, but you want something that you can actually measure. So the A is attainable. So, if you're starting your own business, is it attainable for you to grow $1 million business in a year? I'm not going to say it's not possible, but again, we're here to embrace your numbers and where you are, and you want to focus on first what you need and break that down, and then grow from where you are. So if you already are a traditional business owner, or you already are in business or in network marketing, you want to look at where you are and what is attainable for you. And some people will say, shoot for the moon and land among the stars. And while I'm all for having a stretch goal, you want it to be something that is attainable, right? So the R, the next letter in the S.M.A.R.T acronym is R, and that stands for relevant. So for me, and I mentioned this in, I guess my first podcast, when I intro a little bit of my story, I talked about when I had the inspiration to do this podcast. I really had to think, is this goal relevant to where I am in my business? So this was around the summertime, maybe in September. I'm recording this podcast in January. And actually, I had to table that goal or kind of kick the ball down the court a little bit because I realized it wasn't relevant to where I was in my business. My leaders and I and our company have banded together to really lean into each other's strengths to create some really amazing systems for our team over the last, really, it's been probably 8 months or so, that have allowed me to kind of take my foot off, the gas of leading my team. I've got about 3,500 artists is what we call them on my team. And I know that can sound really overwhelming. And when you're trying to do it all on your own, it can be. But one of the things I loved was we decided to kind of embrace an abundance mindset versus a scarcity and really focus on just coming together and banding together. And what was awesome is I had a clear focus for what I wanted to focus on in my business, which was creating these systems with my sideline sisters, my teammates. But that meant that that's what I needed to majorly focus on. So starting a new podcast was not relevant in my business 6 months ago. However, now it's perfect timing. So is your goal, is it relevant to where you are right now? And then finally, the T stands for time bound. So I knew one of the reasons why I had a time bound deadline, and sometimes those are the things that'll kind of kick your butt into gear and actually make it happen, is I decided to enroll in a podcasting course with my coach, Steph Gass, that, guess what, was starting in January. And that meant that I had to have this podcast up and going by January 1st. And so I had a very finite deadline. I had something to really pray on and to, really think about. And I had months to do it. So I didn't rush into it. I had, again, a clear vision and a very SMART goal as I was creating this podcast. So remember that as you're setting your goals. Lastly, I am going to invite you to set no more than 2 to 3 goals related to your business. I set about 8 goals each year that are specific to all areas of my life, my family, my health, my faith, and one of those areas is my business. And that helps me to really get clear on what I want and, again, chart that course. So I want you to do the same thing. There's a lot that you could do and a lot of goals you could set, but I want you to kind of focus on 2 to 3 things within that specific area. And that can be 2 to 3 things in a quarter, can be 2 to 3 things for this year, but just really take things one at a time, right? Don't try to think too big because then you're going to get overwhelmed and you cannot do it all. I'm here to tell you that. So I'm actually curious, would you want to hear, or would you want for me to do a podcast on my goals that I've set? I'm happy to share them, or follow me on Instagram, and maybe this week I will post my goals for, maybe I'll do a wrap up for my goals from last year, and then I'll post my goals for this year. But my Instagram is at Heather K. Burge. So just go give me a follow over there and let me know if you want me to do a podcast on it. But regardless, just follow me there and send me your goals and kind of what you're thinking, and I can't wait to hear them. And in every episode that I do on this podcast, I want to leave you with a strong action item, something that you can take and implement today. Because if you're like me and you love listening to podcasts, sometimes you can kind of get stuck in consumption mode. I want you to focus on what you can do in the baby steps towards actually creating SMART goals and attaining your dreams. So today's action is going to be to brainstorm some worthy goals in your business, specific to your business. And then I want you to take that a step further, and I want you to sit down with your spouse, or your accountability partners, your friends. If you are in business or have business partners already, talk to them, of course. But I want you to actually tell somebody about it. Sometimes we have these goals that sit in our mind or in our hearts, and we're like, is this worthy? Is this something that I could do? Maybe it's starting a new business and you have it on your heart. Be bold and be brave and talk about it. Talk about it with the people that know you, that love you best. I love the book of Proverbs in the Bible, and one of my favorite verses is Proverbs 15:22 that says, "Without counsel, plans fail, but with many advisors, they succeed." So that right there, regardless of your beliefs, is really incredible advice when you are looking to set some worthy goals in your business. So brainstorm some worthy goals, break out either your notes app on your phone or a little notepad. I always have a little spiral notebook with me, and I want you to just jot out the things that are on your heart. It can be big, it can be boats, it can be something small, it can be that you want to get weekly manicures. It can be, anything, but I want it to be related to something that your business could bring to your life. And talk about it with your people, right? And let me know too. Again, shoot me a message over on Instagram, and I cannot wait to hear what you guys think about this episode. Feel free to share with a friend if you think she needs a little bit of help in the goal setting department. And thank you so much for your time today, guys. Can't wait to see you next week. Thank you so much for listening today. If this episode inspired you in any way, it would mean the world for you to share it with a friend or even take a screenshot for your stories. Just tag me at Heather K. Burge on Insta or shoot me a message to let me know what you thought about today's episode. And don't forget to check out heatherkburge.com for more information. Sending y'all big hugs and gratitude for dreaming with me today.